Hey, this is Blake from Kaisertronics. Got this Sears Silvertone 1484. Picked this up a couple days ago from a friend of mine in California, and got a pretty decent deal on it considering the prices have gone through the roof on these. It's pretty wild to see that. I remember buying these in the early 2000s off of eBay for next to nothing, like $150 for the cabinet and the head. And lots of times shipping was more expensive than just buying the amp. So all things considered, you can still find these for decent prices. You just have to wait a little bit, be patient. This particular one is maybe the quietest one I've ever had. It leads me to believe there's been some work done to this. We'll find out soon. But these are traditionally pretty noisy amps, have lots of issues, use the cheapest parts available. Oftentimes the reverb is not working on these. On this particular one, the reverb works great. It's probably been rebuilt at some point. The tremolo on this is not working right now. Could be a tube, something simple. But let's get it flipped around, kind of see what's going on the other side. All right, on the back side here. Okay, so now we can see a little bit of the picture kind of coming together. This is really clean. Somebody's already replaced the output transformer with the triad. So somebody's done some work on this thing at some point. The pre-tubes are all original. These are Silvertone branded tubes. The multi-cap here it says it's the original Planet, but I have some sort of suspicion that once we get in here, that's been bypassed. The 6L6s have been replaced. These are Sovtecs. The power transformer looks to be original, but it has far less rust than you'd assume that most of these would have by this time. So either this was really kept kind of nice, or somebody maybe done a little bit of cleanup at some point in here. You can see it's got a 2-prong power cord still. But this one looks like it's been replaced, obviously. And they bypassed the pigtail that was in here and put a jack in for the speaker cabinet. And so, obviously, somebody's done some work. So let's get it open and see what the inside looks like. All right, we got it opened up. This is really interesting. It looks like most of everything is original, with the exception, of course, that output transformer that's been mounted in different holes in the cord. And maybe these caps, these orange caps, those are probably not original because most of them would be this dark red color. It doesn't look like a lot of things have been replaced in this at all. It has the original input jacks that are non-shunted. All of the electro caps are still the original Planet caps that came in these. And so, man, we might have just gotten really, really lucky with this. Maybe that output transformer is really helping keep that noise floor down. But it's a really interesting thing to see one of these be so quiet. And so I was initially going to kind of go through here and replace the caps and replace, the combo cap on the outside, but even that's original. Everything is as it was for the most part. So I'm going to keep it stock. It sounds great. It works great. The only thing we need to try to diagnose is that tremolo. I'm thinking that's just going to be a tube, but this is the octocoupler here for the tremolo unit. We might end up having to pull that apart to see if the tube doesn't bring it back to life when I swap out that 12AX7. But this is really cool. It's cool to see a vintage amp that's not been touched much. I think the only other thing that I'm going to do is put a 3-prong power cord on it for safety. You can see they've got some sort of connection here that they made that's shrink wrapped. Not quite sure what else is going on in this little corner here, but yeah, so not a lot of work to do. I'm gonna get those things done and see what it sounds like after that.